It's a new day, Noonan. Yes, it is. And I am blossoming out of the soil like Susan Boyle. That was that singer from American Idol, that British lady that became famous for being good, but not having I think it was American Idol. Like, she was really good at singing, but she wasn't like a star. So, Susan Boyle, that's what I basically am. I'm not really good at anything. I mean, that's a bad example. I am the opposite of Susan Boyle, where I am really bad at everything, but I am a star. And there's no, reason why. There's no, logic to it. It's just, why is he around so much? Why is he popular? He's bad at all the things he does. But here I am, baby. I'm living La Vida Loca. We're staying busy over here at Noon and Time with Harold. This is Harold here. Ooh, can I say living La Vida Loca? That's not cultural appropriation, is it? I don't think so. It's a popular song. Anyways, I'm living La Vida Loca. And it is a beautiful, beautiful day. Harold is staying busy. We've been making a bigger effort. Once again, I tend to get into these grooves, right? Where I'm like, all right, what is Noon and Time with Harold? What the heck are we doing? And I think not knowing specifically what we're doing is the answer. And it's more so just, hey, if something grabs my attention, we do it. Because it's not like if Noon and Time with Harold goes away, anything changes about any of your lives. So at the end of the day, it needs to be, hey, I'm having fun. And I'm helping somebody some way, or getting information out in just a cool new way. So that's sort of the approach. So yeah, we've been doing some interviews. We had the data center dude last week, who just sat down, Mr. John, or was it Josh? Now I can't remember his name. Oh God, I think it was John Griffin. And he talked about data centers and talked about politics and his feelings on things. And that was fine. It's not the most interesting topic in the world to me, but as far as views go and feedback, it's the most we've gotten for a video in a long, long time. So people wanted to hear what he had to say. Then on the reverse side, we had an interview with a trivia company host, Super Geek Trivia Abe's. And that was more fun for me because it was just silly conversation about silly stuff with a silly guy. So, and hasn't been watched a lot and hasn't got a lot of feedback. But all this stuff can be found at our Facebook, looking at our reels, or on our YouTube, Noon and Time with Harold, or go to that facebook.com/Noon and Time with Harold and just hit them reels and you'll find all these videos. So that's what I'm trying to do more of, is just get out, because I'm also just lonely. I'm a lonely boy. I sit at home by myself till 3:30 every day, unless I make plans to go shoot a video with somebody in the city. And I know where you're thinking, oh, go get a job, you idiot. I have a job and I work. It's just, I don't know. What we've talked about before, my brain, it doesn't brain quite right. I've got actual diagnosed things that aren't great with me versus self-diagnosed things. Not to say that if you self-diagnose, you're not sometimes right, but there is a big difference. So I kind of I spend the day trying to stay alive, is the best way to put it, in multiple ways. So, But I do want to be around people a little bit more and socialize a little bit more. So if you're hearing this, you're like, yo, bro, let's do some shit. Well, you know what? Let's do that. I would love to. What's been going on in your life? I know that this past weekend was the halftime show. Well, I say the halftime show. The Super Bowl was this past weekend, and it became, of course, the game itself was not news. Nobody really cared about the fact that there was this football game, which, I mean, Seahawks and Patriots is, when these teams just get good out of nowhere, if they're not teams that have been really bad, it's not exciting, right? It's like, oh, this is a team that hasn't been good in a while, and now they're good. And they made it to the Super Bowl. But if it's a team that's if the New York Jets make it to the Super Bowl against the Lions, I mean, there you go. These teams are historically not good. Don't make it to Super Bowls. So that would be cool. That would be cool to see that game. Or if it's an underdog versus a big guy. But just two teams that in the last couple of years, yeah, whatever. Boring storyline. Sports is all about the storylines. And the biggest storyline that came out of Super Bowl weekend was, of course, the halftime show in which Bad Bunny was going to did perform in Spanish. And what is it called? What is the TPUSA? Top Golf USA? Whatever it is. I really don't remember. We'll call it Top Golf USA. I know that's not what it is, but who had Kid Rock and a bunch of other country singers to be like the American halftime show for America. And it became where you had to pick a side and everything. I watched both because I find live like spectacle music very interesting. Like I like to see during the Grammys when they have all the performances and the MTV VMA things. I like to see all the performances. I don't like going to live concerts. I find that boring, but I like to see the big spectacle of music being put on. So yeah, I watch both. Whatever, guys, whatever. It's live music in between a football game. Truly, it does not matter, and who cares? But I think production-wise, that Bad Bunny one was lit. Bad Bunny is incredibly not charismatic and stiff and looks like he was the worst part, but like the vibe and the people dancing and all the references and the storyline, loved it all. Super fun. I like that it was in Spanish where I didn't know what they were singing about. So it was all just about, what are the vibes of this song, Sometimes that's fun. It's like when you listen to Beethoven play on the piano. You don't know what his lyrics were that he wrote because he didn't share those. We don't know the lyrics that Beethoven wrote for Calmados 13 or whatever they are. Those songs may be about beating somebody, maybe about marrying a cow. We don't know because Beethoven didn't release the lyrics. So I am saying that Beethoven forgetting to release the lyrics to his music is the equivalent of listening to music in Spanish. I don't know if that checks out. But either way, it's cool to and I watched it with Hanley, the girlfriend, and she would be like, I know some of the Spanish words. So she'd be able to pull some of the words and be like, that word was this. Oh, that was girl. And that was Mary. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So I'm improvising in my head and making up what these songs are about with no idea. So that was, I had a good time doing that because the way my creative brain works, it is fun for me to I have to make the song what the song is. I feel the vibe. I can see people dancing. This one's making people dance. This one's got violins. But what is it about? I don't know. I don't know what he's singing about. But it's pop music, so it's probably about being in love and then not being in love and then partying and having sex. And that's probably it, I would think. So, the Top Golf show is perfectly fine. I don't care if somebody lip syncs. It doesn't matter when you're watching live spectacle music shows, whatever. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. That one was obviously more boring because they just kind of stand around on like a Phillips Arena looking stage versus that big old football field. But whatever. If you like their music, you like their music. If you liked both, if you liked either of them just because you enjoyed the music of it, great, cool. That's what it's about. If you turned it into a big hateful political thing, one way or the other, yeah, you're being a silly baby. And it's not even that I'm mad at you. I just am like, there are lots of things to care about in life, like the fact that Mutagenics came out this week on Steam, and caring about some of the things we care about. You don't have to care about everything is a very, very important thing to note. It's okay to be like, I don't know, or that's just not something I care about. It doesn't mean you haven't thought about it. It just means when you have thought about it, you've made the choice, hey, where I'm at in life, this is not something I want to put energy into. That's all it means. It just means where you're at, you don't have the energy to learn more about it and care about it. It is okay to not care about certain things. Sometimes, maybe not. Sometimes there's just some extremes where if you can't care about it at all, maybe there's some disconnect in your heart. But even then, hey, maybe that disconnect comes from trauma that you've experienced, or some medical condition that you haven't gone through and you haven't figured out yet. Basically, let's all be easier on each other. It's basically what I'm saying. Actually, basically what I'm saying is, damn, did y'all see Jessica Alba? Bro, that is wild. Okay. Anyways, other things going on. See, I know a lot of people I would say everybody on Facebook. I think the hierarchy of information goes the Noonan Coweta scanner page, number 1, right? The Noonan Times Herald, number 2. Noonan Police Department, number 3. And then I personally do believe I am number 4 when it comes to just places that if somebody, like, if I post something, even if you know that most of it is parody, it's based on something real 90% of the time. So if you see me post something about a bank robbery in Noonan, there's a good chance there was a bank robbery in Noonan, and now you're going to look it up and you're going to learn about it. That happens a lot. Not bank robberies don't happen a lot, but I tried it. That's where the funnier stuff is when you take a little bit of truth and paint it with a rainbow marker. So that's what I'm here to do. So I think that is the way we go about our news. I think those are, and there's probably another page out there that has more followers and stuff, but I think those are the 4 pages on Facebook, at least, that are really the go-to for things. I personally love the Coweta County Crime Facebook page. It's just facebook.com/Coweta County Crime, and it's just mugshots. Every now and then they'll post like a breaking news story about things that happen around the area that kind of match up to people's mugshots. Sometimes they'll post other counties. Sometimes they even post like really bad food reviews because they're like, this is basically criminal. But I get such a kick. Maybe kick's not the right word. I get entertained, which I think is just saying kicked, but a longer way to say it. And I'm just going to see if I see somebody that I know or see somebody that I think I know. And then I like to go and see what they got arrested for. And I like to see the comment section when it's people that are like, oh, don't worry, girl, you got this. You're going to bounce back. We care about you. Or if it's somebody that really pissed people off and they're like, oh, I'm so glad that person it's finally going to pay for their actions. Like, it's just, it's a glimpse into the community that it covers a lot of bases of what I find interesting, right? It's half of it is really encouraging. Half of it, not even half of it, but a chunk of it is roasting and bullying. And some of it is just sad, but it's interesting. There's definitely some awful people in the comment sections, but that's true about anywhere. So I find myself, when I get on Facebook, which really I don't get on Facebook and just scroll. I get on the Business Suite Facebook app and schedule posts and respond to comments on my pages and stuff. But to just get on and scroll, I see Scanner Traffic, I see Coweta County Crime, and then it's usually stuff about sports and wrestling and businesses. I try to follow anytime I have tagged a business on Herald. I follow that business and I try to keep up with them. But the Coweta County Crime page, if you have not gone to it just go to it and search people's names that you think maybe got arrested sometime in the last couple of years and find out things and look at what they were arrested for and learn about it. And it might have been something that, is kind of silly to get arrested for. And it might have been something like, oh, goodness, that's scary. Of course, remember, being arrested does not mean you're guilty. It means you're arrested. So it's definitely, and so there's all these little storylines. So I don't know. I've thought about making a Coweta County Crime parody page, but due to the fact that there are so many people that get put on there and blasted who weren't guilty, like then when it comes out, it's like, oh, all charges were dropped. That happens. And so I would hate to, in any type of situation, I said this before recently because somebody was like, oh, you should make a joke about these 2 people that were just arrested. I try not to make jokes about specific people that have open investigations unless it's somebody like really, really, really big. But just like, here's a local person who did something dumb that was kind of weird. Let's make jokes about it. Not really my thing. I try to be a little bit more gentler when I'm petting the old, I was going to say cereal box, but I meant to say creative box. So, which saying cereal box sounds weird anyways, to be like, yeah, I'm going to pet my cereal box. That sounds sexual. And that's not how I meant. I did not mean to be sexual right now. It happened. It happened. I said something. I said a whole thing, and I shouldn't have, but I didn't mean to. So apologies accepted. Everyone forgives me. Now, something that did happen to me recently, and I won't get too crazy into it. I've had this lady that's been messaging me. She looks like she could be like early 20s. I don't know how old she is. Either way, that's still a lady, but like I don't know if I was a young lady or older lady or younger woman, but she looks young. Doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. I was just getting to my head because sometimes when guys say lady, it's kind of weird. A person was messaging me because at the greater Harley Davidson in Noonan, they keep posting these jobs. They keep posting, motor clothes associates, accepting applications Monday through Friday, hiring motor clothes associates. Like, they've been posting about this job at the Harley Davidson place off and on since mid last year, I think, with no explanation as to why they can't get that job filled. So I posted about it on Herald, and I was just like, hey, somebody keeps pointing this out to me. Does anybody know what's going on? Why can't what is this job, and why can't they get it filled, and why do they keep posting it? It's just motorcycle people. What's so hard about working with motorcycle people? And rarely ever do my DMs blow up as much as they did for this. It did for like Mad Mexican. The Mad Mexican thing was crazy. But so many people reached out to me to let me know how much they tried working there and were denied, or how are people who did work there and got fired, or people who sent in applications that have been ignored. And one of the people that reached out is someone who wants to remain completely anonymous, and of course I will respect that. If you message me in my DMs, you remain anonymous. Always the case, unless sometimes I ask, hey, if I make this joke, do you want me to post your name? Do me post a nickname? But there are things in my DMs that would make amazing stories. But if you send it to me and you don't want me to say it, I won't say it. I will be respectful of that. And this person has family that works for the Harley Davidson in our Harley store. I've never been to a Harley Davidson, so I don't even know what you call them, your Harley shop, the motorcycle shop. And they just ripped this place apart about how awful the management has become and how they treat their employees, and like the big brother approach to managing employees and making them feel bad about themselves and making them feel scared. And the management is not the management that's always been there, according to like just some of the messages that I've been getting. So I think a lot of the people that are still in that situation that probably still work there, it's probably like, hey, this is kind of a newer situation we're in, and maybe it won't last. Maybe things will get better, because I think that happens a lot with new management. There's some growing pains, but I've had people message me a lot to be like, hey, you're bullying a business in Noonan. You need to be nicer to them. I do not get people messaging me to do the opposite often. And the people that want to call out the Harley Davidson, I don't even know what it's called, Greater Harley, what is it? Greater South Harley Davidson, Great South Harley Davidson. It's concerning. I don't, Harold doesn't, like, this seems like a real thing, like a real issue. There's not a joke to be made that I have, right? It's not like, oh, real bad managers at Harley Davidson, employees are really sad, LOL, motorcycles go vroom. I don't have a joke for it. It's just a sad thing that I hope, basically what I'm saying is I hope the people who are having problems with this place and are really unhappy with it and think that there needs to be major change, I hope they take this information and the way they feel about it and go to a real news source. Because this is one of those things where it does seem serious. It seems really stressful. Because of my nature of things, it's not something that I do, right? I don't get involved in personal beefs with employees and bosses, unless it's, something on like the political scale where everyone's eyes are already on them. I've not in the past been like, oh, so you're telling me like if a Leaf and Bean employee was like, oh yeah, my manager's really terrible and this happened, I wouldn't post about it. I'd be like, oh, I'm really sorry. Because that has happened. I've had people who worked at Leaf and Bean that were like, yeah, really didn't like the manager. So, because then on the flip side, I've had people that were like, no, actually, I love the manager. Working there was great. I have nothing bad to say. So I don't love touching that kind of stuff. But it is something that I want to say here on the podcast, because the podcast is more open to this kind of thing of the behind the scenes of Harold. That's kind of what we go for on the podcast. And through that, I think that it's a situation that somebody who can make more of a change than me needs to fix, because I can't do it. I ain't powerful. I can make like somebody laugh and I can make a joke about a motorcycle gang. But then if I piss off a motorcycle gang, they're going to come and get me and hit me with chicken bones and stuff. And trust me, if there's one thing I don't want to get hit with, it's a chicken bone. So that's just what I picture. What do you call it? Motorcycle gangs doing is they drive around like little burlap sacks, and after they go and eat chicken bones at like Hooters or Wings and Things, they're like, well, look who it is. It's old Honda Accord boy. Throw them chicken bones at him. And they just pelt you with chicken bones. And you're like, oh my God, stop it, you motorcycle gang. Don't pelt me with chicken bones. And you try to escape, but you can't. There's too many chicken bones. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never been attacked by a motorcycle gang, but I've seen Sons of Anarchy, and it's just like, 5 seasons of different motorcycle men throwing chicken bones at people. So this is actually a good joke, and I'm pretty proud of it. That's it, y'all. I love you. Make sure you follow me, Noon and Time with Harold, on Facebook, Instagram.com. You can email me, noonandtimewithharold@gmail.com. We've got trivia. We do stand-up. We host events, improv. We do all kinds of things. You can learn about it on our website. Otherwise, I'm going to learn about you on a website. And that website is called beautifulpersonwithapperfectsoul.com.